I find that when I hear about stories where people getting hurt, they always say he always wore his helmet, he always put his seatbelt on, it was just that once. She only did that just that once. It's never going to be your plane, it's never going to be your kid, it's not going to be in your house. Well, I'll tell you, the first step in not getting hurt is simply understanding that you can be. I've been speaking for almost 20 years now. It's been almost 2 decades since I got hurt. And most people who know my work know my story. So caught in a conveyor belt, 21 years old, unguarded, emergency sensor, had been disabled. Those were cited as the main reasons as to why I was injured. But I now know that people have a want or a desire to believe that things that they hear about that are bad can happen, but that they won't happen to them. And when I realized how much of an effect the whole notion of it won't happen to me was having on people in workplaces and of course families, it made me want to share my story even more. One of the most effective ways for me to hit home the notion that it can happen to you is to walk up on stage, and as per usual, people will say, I didn't know which leg it was, and you don't look like somebody who got hurt, or you don't look like somebody with a prosthetic leg. Nobody looks like somebody who's going to get hurt at work today. Nobody looks like somebody who's going to get killed at work today, but people are dying to work every day in North America and all over the world. Realize that your own health and safety, especially at work, is very much within your control, and that the attitude towards health and safety is something that people need to recommit to. So we got PPE, we got work boots, we got safety glasses, but I think your PPE, you're wearing it right now. It's your gut, it's your heart, and it's your head. You're feeling with your heart, you trust in your gut, making decisions with your head, then all the other things will fall into place. That's what I believe. See something, say something sums it up. It's simple, it's catchy, and it's a call to action. Every day we live our lives, we see things that we know aren't right, we see people doing things that we know they shouldn't do, and I want people to recognize that when it comes to their own health and safety, it's everybody's business. Nobody goes to work alone, and nobody gets hurt alone, because I've seen the effects an injury has on a mother and a father, and on brothers and on family and co-workers. And unless people speak up and say something, nothing will change. Each and every one of you in this room, I hope you believe and know and trust me when I tell you, has the power to change a life or save one, each and every day. So if your gut tells you something ain't right, I should say something, please have the courage to care enough to do it. Because in the wake of a tragedy, the last question that you want to be left asking yourself is, what more could I have done? To create a culture of safety, we have to create and foster a culture of caring. Rules and regulations don't touch people's hearts. Personal stories do, and that's why I believe that sharing stories does save lives.
Seeing her and the valor and charisma that she has through what she went through, it gives me more perspective on how to have more empathy towards my people and get to their heart to understand what life really means.
I think we all can be touched by that story, especially with an aging workforce. They do the same jobs all the time, and you can become complacent. And in her story, complacency was a factor. She had seen people doing it time and time again. It sticks with you and makes you really think about what you're doing as a safety professional at your line of business.
Her stories were real, they're relevant. Everybody in the whole industry, because it's extremely hazardous, needs to hear her from that perspective. Talk about zero injuries. I mean, everybody's going to be out there watching out for everybody else. And it's not because they attended a safety meeting or because somebody's watching over their shoulder. It's because they heard her true story. This is real life. This is what happens.
I want people to feel personally. I want people to feel empowered. At least one thing that they're doing on a regular basis that they know they shouldn't be doing. At least one thing that they know they can change. And to walk out of the room with the notion and the motivation to actually change it. Because when you walk out the door today, if you keep doing everything the same way you've already been doing it, how are we going to get to zero? We're not. So today's about taking the challenge to do one thing safer and speak up. I hope I inspire people to share their own stories. We need to keep the conversation going. So if I can affect people and if I can inspire them to dig deep and find their story, job well done.